I'm going to sound like a pretentious Bengali. You know, when I saw Pother Pachali and I was in my teens perhaps, I didn't know it then, but I know it now. That was the one movie which I understood what storytelling and what cinema and storytelling in the cinematic medium and form can do. What is it for you?
One of the very early films that had huge impact was, of course, Ray and Uttam Suchitra and Ghatak comes Bengali household. That is the common thing. But Ray is not the serious ones or the so-called more intellectual one, but it's actually the Guppy guy in Bagabai. Because the ghostly stories, everyone thought ghost, matlab daravna hai, you'll get scared. He transformed them into funny things.
Yeah.
So every summer vacation means going to Nanihal and watching Guppy and Bagabai. And everyone will mimic those sound, boo, telly, boo, telly. So that becomes such a huge craze that you would imagine, wow, ghosts can be so much fun.
So if you're a film buff, get ready because this conversation is going all over the place, in front of the camera, behind it, some gossip, some glamour, and lots of just pure love for the magic of the movies. Somen, did you ever think when you were watching DD7 and Doordarshan growing up that you would be in Mumbai, in the heart of the Hindi film industry, as a very, very important person?
I don't know, very important person, but never.
Achha, powerful? You prefer the
neither
adjective
powerful, neither important. I'm trying to just make movies. I work with Dharma Productions. I'm just trying to make movies, whatever I can do. But never imagined, because दूर तक रिश्ता नहीं है film का, कहीं पे भी family दूर से, and I'm growing up in a small town, Dhanbad, जहाँ एक theater है, and you have to travel at least 5-6 kilometers or more to go to that theater where they're showing mostly B movies or C movies. So you're watching movies at home, you have no clue. And then I remember in school people would discuss, oh, the hero, heroine, are they really kissing? Then somebody said, nahi, wo saath mein chipka dete hain. So those kind of conversations of film, nobody knew anything. But then when I moved to Calcutta, I was doing my graduation in physics, and then I was figuring out what to do. I got bored with science and all. Then I figured out SRFK had the sound design course, which needed physics graduation. I said, okay, maybe I can try this route. But then I wasn't sure how it will pan out. And I'm talking about industry wasn't that professional, that, there's nothing called career as such, how do you figure it out? So then one thing led to another. Then I got into mass communication, journalism, but films ka keeda always there. So you're trying to figure it out, what to do, how to do. But never imagined, and then somehow I landed up here. It's been taken quite a long route, many years, but people, my folks still don't know what I do.
How a producer समझ
नहीं
नहीं
आता.
पाते ना.
Journalism is easy to understand. नाम आता है, PTC आ रहा, you're reporting, photo आ रहा. But producer, this is
और director भी you understand.
Yeah, director you understand.
Cameraman you understand.
If I say creative development, that is to दूर का. This they still don't understand. Producer was always the concept that you're putting the money. He said, where did you make so much money that you're putting the money? If I'm on call, they're hearing crore mein, achha iska itna weekend collection itna. So they still don't get what I do. I try to explain, no, it's about scripts. They say, you're writing. No, I'm not writing. Somebody else is writing. You're making that person write. But you're not directing, but you're sitting on the edit. What is going on? So folks still don't understand, though I've landed up here. But it's been good fun.
For people outside the movie business, do you want to just explain what your role is? Because पैसा तो आप नहीं लगाते हो, लेकिन आप पैसे वालों को बोलते हो कहाँ लगाना है, right?
Yeah, my primary job is as a producer. Earlier I was creative producer, then co-producer, now I'm producer. Is put the film together. Like if Karan has one line idea, how to convert that one line idea into a story. So get a writer and say, this is the idea, what can be done, sit with him, bounce ideas. Then he comes back with a story. Then we develop the story into a screenplay. Then get a director attached. Then the director comes on board. Acha, who to make the film with, what is the budget, what is the revenue, what is the non-theatrical revenue, kitna pe banna chahiye, kitna pe nahi banna chahiye, what are the risk factor. Of course, Karan is one person show and I'm reporting to him. So I work closely with him, and there is my team of 4-5 people. Who read all the scripts and submissions that comes to us. But it's about putting the film together from the idea to the shoot to the edit.
Is the story interesting? Does the script do the story justice? How much money to make this in based on how much money will come back?
Yes. All those things are part of producing the film. the risk factor, the non-theatrical revenue, how the trailer should look like, what should be the title of the film, the song should look like. Songs is actually fully Karan's department. I don't understand anything about songs. We all love songs, but Karan says, okay, tum log rehne do. So he handles fully the song, the music. And then you're sitting in the edit. Is edit working, not working? So many cuts. Sometimes it takes ages. Change the editor, change. So, I mean, till the final release, that's the responsibility.
You need a creative instinct,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You need intuition.
Yeah.
You need to understand
The
commerce
market, yeah.
and the market. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Movie making is a lot of work. And what people also don't realize that a movie takes at least, the fastest it has happened is like 3 years.
And this is in corporate Hindi film industry, right? Which has changed a lot from
which has changed a lot. Now it's
the
much more
80s
professional.
and 70s and way
much.
beyond.
Now it's much more organized in terms of the cash flow, money flow, in terms of theatrical distribution. Earlier, the distributors who paise theli mein leke aate the, now it's everything ticketed, it's online, book my show. So everything has streamlined a lot. But the nature of the business is such that it takes a lot of time.
The fastest you've seen a movie from script to release is 3 years?
Yeah, the fastest script conversion from the idea to script has been 2 years.
So this is a very different mindset, right?
Yeah.
I come from the world of news television.
Yeah.
And even though I didn't do daily news ever.
Which is daily, in the night. You start in the day, you deliver by night.
Right. And I didn't do it. And yet I know that, you know, it's like you think of an idea today and it's on air tomorrow. Right? You did start your career with news channels, right? A decade.
Yeah.
It's a complete shift in outlook.
Yeah.
How did you manage that?
But while doing journalism, I started writing scripts. So during the daytime, I was doing journalism. During the night, I was writing scripts. And some of the scripts got selected to some of the labs. So then by the time you already knew, and you know, I started making friends who were in the films, and then you slowly started learning that there's no fastest route. I remember there's a very popular screenwriter called John August, who wrote some of the great films. So on his blog, somebody mentioned that on an average, for a person to get a break in the film industry is either 10 years or 10 scripts, whichever you can do fastest. So that is the nature of the business. Because, you know, to develop a story, by the time somebody writes 1 pager to 2 pager to 5 pager to 10 pager, and it will come to us and we will read and we'll give notes and how to make it better, the second draft and the third draft, and everyone is happy with it. And then we go to the step outline, and then we go to the screenplay, then we go to the dialogue draft. Matlab, pata nahi chalta hai, but 2 saal, matlab 2 years is the fastest I have seen for script conversion, for 3 years is the fastest for an idea to film release.
Wow, that's, like I said, complete change in mindset.
Huge change in mindset. But also what happens is, which I do, which I tell everyone, please juggle 10 things. One ball will fall in place, depending on the money, the star cast, depending on the directors, depending on the producer and the financer. But you have to keep juggling. If you're writing one story idea, one screenplay, you have to juggle. So we also put 20 things in development, 2 will convert. That is the ratio.
How many films have you been on to date? 12?
Must be. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So which one are you most satisfied with? Not just, now don't take this question just at face value, because there's more. This gentleman used to run something called the, what fight club?
Moa Fight Club.
Moa Fight Club. I remember because I have quoted from something I read there in one of some interview at some point, because they had an informed, passionate perspective, let's say, right?
That's the right way to put it.
Diplomacy भी कोई चीज है.
Yeah.
तुम्हें तो पता ही नहीं है diplomacy. Do you know how to spell diplomacy?
No holds barred. That's the only way we know. Now I know.
Little bit of diplomacy. Somen Mishra Ep7.
Yeah, now I know.
Huh?
Yeah. They put dharma tag into everything. So I'm being careful and diplomatic. Yeah.
So which of the films that you have produced so far are you most satisfied with? I know it's a bit unfair, this question.
Yeah.
But do you think you could answer it?
You know, in recent past, Rocky Aur Rani ki Prem Kahani, because, and there's a reason for it. When I joined Dharma, I remember this incident. There were a bunch of directors, Dharma directors, 6, 7 of us, and they were talking to Karan, what should Karan do? And they said, Karan, you must make K3G again, you know, because K3G is like Bible in Dharma corridors. I looked at Karan as a F word, so I said, where have I landed? Because I have slept during that film. I can't take so much family and such a long film. Songs are great. I said, if he's going to make that film again, what are we doing? But Karan is also a very smart guy.
He is
The smartest and the sharpest. So he said, even if I'm doing a family one, it has to be reinvented to today's generation, to get the politics right, to get the gender politics right. You know, this is not 10 years back what we could have done. So or Rani Ki Prem Kahani is all that fun, all that big song, Nach Gana, all that relationship arc, but still is reinvented with the right politics, with the right messaging, without being thopoed about it, you know. So that.
And are you saying that these winds of change, this ability to stay within a genre that you are the king of, right? And yet make it a little more inclusive, get more people to come in. Are you saying that this is something that you and the teams that you're working with have helped bring in?
Is fully Karan's contribution, but also Karan trusts people. So if he's trusting me, you know, to get the writer like a Sumit Roy or Ishita Moitra, who also come from that kind of school of thought, you know, they come from Jamia, they come from Delhi, Bongs from Delhi. So, you know, that's why the film is also set in. So Karan's idea of bringing me also to Dharma was that, you know, Dharma is known for a certain kind of films, or certain brand of films. But things are changing faster. Pop culture keeps changing every year. So you have to keep reinventing. So how to do that reinvention and still hold on to the roots. So that Rocky Rani Ki Prem Kahani, that's one of the most satisfying and it's also very difficult film in terms of, you know, writing. There are like 12 main characters. And you have to complete everyone's circle. I said, God, where is it going to end? Because, you know, duration be a length be a. I think first cut was 3.5 hours or something. I think KCG was that long. So now we can't watch that long films. So it was also very difficult writing.
And to have the songs. And to have the, you know, actors who are not familiar to North Indian audiences. So Toto.
The Bengali Toto and Chunni, you know, to get them there. And we are doing a song in Kashmir also. So we're not cutting out anything and we are shooting that also. So, I mean, it was challenging at a lot of levels and it was also satisfying because when it lands smoothly, it lands in a great way.
And a Bengali woman as the agent of change. What more can you ask for, right?
So we were told off. There's so many Bengalis between me and Sumit Roy and Ishita. No wonder you guys have put all the good points to Bengalis. I said, no, but there's the other story also, the dad story, the abusive parent, all those things are there. But
but you all were a little mean to the Bengali man, you know that, right? Alia Bhatt's suitor, I can't remember the
Somen, his name was, because my friends are notorious. He was a journalist, so they put his name as Somen. Yeah, he's Somen Mishra, made him wear Fab India clothes, which I was always wearing. So Somen, that film was triggering when I was watching this. Somen.
But it's also quite a tribute, na? And this is a bit of humble brag, abhi.
No, ये दोस्तों की हरामीपन्ना है, you know, those friends का. But another film which I really liked was Neeraj's film called Gili Pucci, Ajib Dastan.
I loved it.
You know, so
I loved it.
And Neeraj is such a great filmmaker because, you know, in that short film to do so many things, you know.
So many intersections.
Gender, caste, and sexual politics to land everything smoothly.
So Gili Pucci and Rocky Aur Rani.
And there's one more film which I'll say for slightly tangential reason, you know, is Love Stories, the Karan's Love Story with Vicky and Kiara. That short film was Karan's because everyone was handling. So that short film, of course, went viral because of obvious reason. But what happened was most interesting, for which I'll remember, is there's a site which sells adult toys, you know. So I'm forgetting the name of the site. So they do the annual roundup survey, and when the survey came, they put a thing that when does the sales increase? So the first factor was I think during COVID. The second was Love Stories. So what happened? The sales increased by 50-55% because people were googling Kiara Advani vibrator, Kiara Advani sex toys. So I said, okay, we are bringing joy to people's life. We are bringing happiness to people's lives, which rarely happens, you know, and especially in India where women's happiness, I mean, nobody bothers about most families. So they told us that, you know, you don't know what Love Stories have done for our sales, for our business. People are Googling that. I said, wow, this is going in my CV. Because I never imagined that kind of impact, you know, that film will have.
Actually, why are you surprised? You know, fashions get affected.
Fashions get done, but vibrators will get done. I never imagined, you know, to be very honest.
So, as someone who was more Anurag Kashyap than Karan Johar, in your early years, and nobody will let you forget it because it's documented in the public domain. How did this happen? What triggered it? Of course, it's a fabulous opportunity.
Yeah.
But like you said, in
Yeah.
that first session, you were
Yeah.
like, are we going to make Take 3G again?
Yeah.
How did this?
So after I started writing, what I was writing was mostly indie space, though it was going to the script lab, but nothing was getting made. One script Shamba was interested in. We had a long chat, this, that, again, it didn't land. And then Jungli was restarting, Times of India's group,
Yeah.
because they had earlier twice they had tried and made some films, it didn't land. So then the opportunity came to join them. So I thought, maybe film mein nahi ban rahi hai, let me try making films, the scripts. A lot of friends would send their scripts for feedback and see how it is reading and what we were reading. I think they would value what I was saying. So then I said, okay, maybe I can do this. If I can't make my film, let me make others' films. Also, I learned because the blog I was running parallelly for a very long time, the notorious blog, that making a good mainstream is much tougher than making a good indie film. I know the indie mein pressure hai, the budget ka and all those things are there. Means ka pressure is there. But what you want to make, you'll be able to make. But in mainstream, with all the factors and the commercial factors and the stars and the budget, you get the bigger budget, and that is the bigger pressure to deliver.
Yeah.
To do a right film, to deliver a good film, which also works at the box office, I realized that's a huge challenge. It's a bigger challenge than writing an indie
So that's
film.
how you decided to come into movie making.
Yeah. So
तो
then
Dharma and Karan Johar कैसे हुआ?
So Dharma and Karan Johar, that's right. So then I joined Jungli, and I did few films at Jungli which did very well, like a Talwar or a Badhai. Badhai though was later, sorry. And then Razi was happening, which was a co-production between Dharma and Jungli.
Okay.
And Karan had seen Talwar.
Yeah.
And again, we were working with Meghna.
Yeah.
So then the offer came in. He said, I'm looking for somebody in development. So why don't you join? I'm like, okay.
Have you read more Fight Club?
He reads everything. So I was surprised he reads every reviews, everything that's written. So he knows his stuff. So he said, I was apprehensive again that what all that things I've said, I don't like it. He was chill about it, So he said, no, the idea is to bring new insight. And he always does this, not with me, a lot of people, a lot of HODs, like if we see his edit team, there are kids walking in. I said, they'll be able to make this Rocky Rani ki Prem Kahani. They all look in their 20s. But they pulled it through. It was a mammoth film with so many cast and all. But his thing is, it should be updated with the new things, because...
So tell me, did you get a lot of flack but for making this jump? Because
I'm still getting a lot of flack.
You're still getting a lot of flack.
I'm still getting it.
But now there is a lot of, you may be quite modest about it, but there is a certain amount of power that comes with the work that you do. And
but I also believe, and rather the power is of the chair.
Sure, of course it is.
Yeah.
As also, you famously reminded some people in the streaming business, isn't it?
I did. And how many messages I got after that? My God, some veteran directors messaged me.
Well done. Well said.
Well said. Because I can't say. They said, we can't say it. Newcomers to veteran directors, somebody said, Salam. I said, sir, Salam, what is this for? He said, good, you said we could not say this thing. Talking of the flag, I said, as people say, if you have to sell your soul, sell it to the highest bidder. So then I'm selling it to Dharma. So that flag still goes on. But whenever there's something nice and good, it's a good event, like a Rocky or Rani, or even Love Story, or a Gilli Pucci, or the other films like a Gunjan, or those kind of films when it's so good because, chalo. I say, no, I'm doing it, but also because boss understands. He has given that power to make things happen. Mere bas ki baat nahi hai. So then people appreciate, and any film that doesn't land or is in bad shape, then we get hate mails, you have rejected our scripts, we think very highly of, and you guys have made this film. So that flag is a cycle. Starting me, I would get, I say, what are they talking? And now I don't bother. I think that will keep going on.
Which film that you worked on has given you the maximum tension or pressure, so much so that it may affect your health? Because it happens, we know.
It happens. A lot of times, consciously or subconsciously, it happens.
Come on, I don't expect you to be careful.
No, I'm trying to think. Not effective. Love Story is a lot of work and a lot of tension, because we are shooting, as you've seen, Kashmir, Kanyakumari, Bangladesh, interiors of Madhya Pradesh. I was fed up. I'm like, bhai, khatam karo. It took, I think, 3.5 years from the idea we started to pitching. And then the 6 films ka edit, first edit, second edit, third edit, I was fed up. And Sajad was the last one to be shot. Bangladesh permission, train mein ja rahe hain. That's an old couple. Their daughter had come for a few days. She has to go back. Then there's a small child. I was fed up with love story. I said, isko khatam karo. I can't take anymore. But thankfully, thanks to all the love it got, but it really took a toll.
So the interesting thing is that my desire to do this conversation now with you, I mean, I could have done it a few months ago, I can do it a few months later, we'll still have a lot to talk about. But the cue or the trigger was Love Storia, because I thought when I saw Love Storia, it reminded me in the best possible way of what feature journalism, feature television journalism was supposed to do. You know, I mean, and I'm sort of being very frank and candid with my views here. A lot of the streaming documentaries are not documentaries. They become very formula oriented, very templated.
Now the Crime Patrol. I said something. So a lot of people got pissed.
Please say it again, because it's true.
It is Crime Patrol also is getting the numbers.
So that is just the area that is, you know, subject-wise, that's the only thing that seems to be safe also to explore. So that's why Somen, I said, let's talk to Somen now, because he was doing fiction. What happened to him? And now you're telling me Love Storia gave you like heartburn.
Because it took so long, and you know, you're dealing with 6 directors, not one. I had done anthology Ajib Dastan, that was 4. I thought 4 hoga, 6 manage ho jayega, but fiction was easier to do. Unscripted, you don't know the things that will plan out, and we were shooting all over the place. You know, there are 3 EPs handling 6 films, and also you're doing in a much tighter budget. Then you're taking too many favors. उस DP को पटाओ, उसको PD को पटाओ, वो मान नहीं रहा है. So
पटाओ मतलब आप ये कर दो इस रेट पे, तो फिर वो वाला फिल्म शायद आप
so do it for Dharma. Let's build a relationship. You're great at your work. Do it not at 4 lakhs, not at 5 lakhs.
Please don't tell me. अब ये तो न्यूज चैनल का है. Thank you please कर करके हमारा पूरा.
It's everywhere. Unscripted.
In entertainment industry.
Unscripted. Unscripted. Docus. They're like docus. कौन देख रहा है, क्या कर रहा है? But you know,
let's shift completely now. One is this whole AI conversation. I mean, big budget films, stunts, chopper, एक सब green screen हो रहा है. अभी उसके आगे भी जाके क्या होने वाला है?
अभी जो हो रहा है right now is making the life of production designers easier. You know, which earlier they were designing. Oh, I need 1 table, 2 cameras, 4 mobile. They just put it and they download and it's ready. That is the first step that has happened. Green screen and chroma screen and LED screens, we are still struggling to get it smooth. You know, they don't look the best in our films unless you have spent money or time. Like Brahmastra VFX was great. You know, not every films, there are films of mine where it's so bad, I have cringed every time the scene comes, I hide my face, the VFX is so bad, you know, so that is still not smooth in a lot of our films. So that AI threat, I think India and Indian films, I think it will take time.
But are you all worried about it as an industry? I'm speaking to you now as a representative of this industry.
No, I think the people will still drive it. It will make a lot of people out of their jobs, but also a lot of people are updating themselves accordingly.
What kind of jobs do you think will AI affect?
Like the people who are designing. Suppose if I'm designing, okay, I'm drawing this cup and this thing, I don't need to draw. My drawing job is gone. I need to put the command there at the very simple basic level. I need to design. So that production design.
Stuntmen.
You know, we are still working with stuntman. We are not.
No, I'm not talking about right now, because you're quite clear about that. But I'm saying, आगे जाके where will the impact be? So design, production design.
And mostly is the post production and the VFX part of it, or the the sound or the music part of it. Like people are replacing. They're putting Mohammed Rafi's voice in Arijit's songs, those kind of things will become much more smoother, you know.
But so we saw, Hollywood, we saw the writers strike, the actors strike. Of course, while we have film unions in the Hindi film industry and in other industries, they're not as
they're not organized.
You do not see. I don't see something like that happen.
There's no
here,
unity.
Right?
So a lot of things, the writers' union, they ask for things, but the seniors only don't follow those things. I say you can't pinpoint. Writers' credits are mayhem in this country.
So one of the reasons that the writers struck in Hollywood and then actors was to deal with, the new negotiated contracts. What will they be, given that AI becomes a reality, etc., etc., and copyright issues, right? Because generative AI and large language models are based on कि Somen के style का चीज जो है public domain में के style से बनाओ. So that copyright and the royalties.
Yeah.
Are you all beginning to think about all of these things?
As of now, no. It doesn't come.
Okay. But it will.
It will come. I think, but few years down the line.
You know, as we start winding up the conversation, I sat and saw Showtime.
Yeah.
Because I just consumed it in one go.
Yeah.
And I really think, by the way, strategically, and Hotstar has done it in the past, and I will tell Gaurav even if he's watching this actually, or I'll message him, which is that this, you know, fir break, it doesn't work. He did it with Night Manager also. And either you show me all together,
right,
or you release episodic week by week.
Yeah.
But this 4 and then a long gap and then some more, it just completely breaks it. I mean, I know this is...
I agree with. We're getting the same feedback from a lot of people, especially for something like Showtime, which is a very soapy in its nature, you know. If it's like big stake and thriller,
and soapy in a nice way.
Soapy in a nice way that you are watching, but you keep watching. You won't stop because it keeps you enough hooked. There are enough stars, there's enough glamour, and there's enough gossipy stuff, and you're trying to guess who it is. So that's the feedback we have been getting from a lot of people. But also, I think Hotstar has been doing with all their big shows that they split it 3 months every quarter because it's with the subscribers and how.
So I'm sure there's commercial logic to what they're doing, but I will message God. So why I brought it up, though, of course, was to have this, because we're winding down and we're going to close this conversation, a much more philosophical thing, which is the insider and the outsider. And this young girl who's the protagonist in this show, if you see it, has this love for cinema, which is what the outsider brings, isn't it?
Yeah. That's what. I mean, we are all here for the love of movies, you know?
Yeah. This, you know, the star, the moment, the dialogue, the song.
Yeah. But also, what I remember Anurag said in few of the interviews, you know, what happens is the
outsider becomes the insider.
And they loses the perspective first. The insiders have been seeing the highs and the lows and the parties and the flop shows from the childhood. They are much more acclimatized to it. The outsiders, the moment they get power up big, as you see the last few episodes of Showtime, as it comes, you see what happens, you know, and I've seen with people around me, and Anurag rightly pointed out, I think, few years back, and I keep seeing that same thing. So, which a lot of people don't realize or don't want to accept or admit, you know, we come with the notion, matlab outsiders, matlab to doodh se dula, ganga mein nahaya, insiders, matlab sex, daru, drugs, you know, that perception that people have, you know, but I think that's not the right way as we see it. Which Showtime addresses to some extent as we go along.
So you're the outsider, now very much the insider. How are you coping?
Coping is not the right word. The 2-3 things. You know, from childhood, you always dreamt about the movies, but you didn't know how to go, where to go. And then you are in a position where you can make films, the kind of films that you always wanted to make. This is like a dream come true. And the pressure or the other factors that come with it, you know, that is there in any other job. So I don't take those things seriously. I think it's a luxury and a privilege that you get to make movies.
And then you will see that name on celluloid, on stories that
and
you
I
love.
tell everyone, films are for eternity. So why be lazy about it? Your names are for eternity. Once it's published, we are still watching Gurudutt films or Raj Kapoor films. You know, so the name gets printed for as long as it is there. So please put your best foot forward. Please don't be lazy, and even if it takes 4 years or 5 years, it's worth it.
And please understand what a producer does. Somen Mishra, thank you so much for a lovely conversation. Keep watching. We'll keep talking.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It was lovely.
That was a very formal kind of